Hi, I'm Bob Mangello from SilkScreenNow.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make something I designed many years ago. It's called a poor man conveyor. And what it's used for is to speed up production on drying. So when you're printing a t-shirt and you're drying it, you print and you lay it on there, and it's sitting under the flash dryer at 4 inches away while you're printing, and then you can put another one on, and it really just speeds up production. Costs less than $50 to make. If you have the room to have it in your shop, you should build one. If you don't have the money for a conveyor, you'll really see that it speeds up production. So enjoy this video. I go over step by step. It's real easy to build, actually. It's not complex at all. And for a materials list on our website, under the videos on how to build stuff, there'll be a document download, and you can download the material list for all the items that I show you how to build. Today I'm going to show you how to make what I call the poor man conveyor. And this is for SilkScreenNow.com. If you need any other information, you can go to that website and see that. All right, so the first thing I want to do is tell you a list of supplies that you're going to need and you're going to buy from either Home Depot or Lowe's or some hardware store. All right, you want to have 8 plywood half-inch plywood squares, 12 inches by 12 inches. So you want 8 of them. Then you want 2 2x4s. Make sure they're evenly cut. You want 4 2x4s that are 4 foot long. All right. And then you want, the hardware you want is, this is called a Lazy Susan bearing. It, when you put it down, it allows you to spin. It's a bearing, and it's for, it's 12 inches, and they sell these at Lowe's, for sure. They have these at Lowe's. I'm not sure at Home Depot used to carry them, but it's a 12-inch Lazy Susan. Okay, you're going to want some kitchen and bath adhesive for mirror, marble, and granite adhesive. You're going to need a tube of that. You're going to want 4 ceramic floor tiles, and these are 16 inches. But depending on the size of flash dryer that you have, if you have a 12 by 12 flash dryer, you want a 12 by 12 tile. If you have a 16-16 flash dryer, you want a 16-16 ceramic tile. And if you have an 18 by 18, you want an 18 by 18 ceramic tile. And you can buy them individually. And so you want 4 of those. You want a 1-inch drill paddle bit. And that's going to be used to drill the holes that are needed in one of these pieces of plywood. You're going to need about 50 2.5 inch. Right? You're going to want 4 1/4 by 1.5 inch lag bolts. Okay? And then you want about 25 3/4 inch with a Phillips head and a pointed thing. I think they call them pan head screws. Sheet metal screws, but we're going to use them for wood. You want about 25 of those. They have a pointy end and they're 3/4 inch long. I think that's about it. You'll need a drill to drive in the deck screws, and then you'll need an 1/8" drill bit, and also a 7/16 ratchet to put the lag bolts in, or a pair of pliers will work too. But if you have a 7/16 socket, that'll be really good. So those are the materials we're going to be using right now. What we're going to start with is the two 26-inch 2x4s. We're going to make sure they're even, and we're going to put them together with a couple deck screws. We don't need a lot. We're not trying to hold up a house or anything, so just a few to hold it together will be fine. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is mark the center of one of the 12x12s, so we know right where we're going to screw this on the end of it. So what I'm going to do is start a screw here. Okay, now this doesn't have to be exact, so close enough will work. Okay, once you have one in, then you go ahead and put a couple more in there. Okay, so we have that together. Now our next step, get this out of the way, is on these two 4x4s. You can see I cut two little slots. And what you're going to do, you're going to go about halfway down and knock that out. So it goes together like this. Alright? Now, what we're going to do first take our 1/8" drill bit and come about 1 inch away from the edge in the center and put a pilot hole. Whoop. All right, we're going to take our 1/4 by 1.5 inch lag bolts, get it started, and we're going to put those in. Each quarter, leave about a 1/2 inch, leave about a 1/2 inch up. Don't crank them all the way down. Alright, they're all about a 1/2 inch down. Okay, now we're going to flip this over. And what those do when they're on the ground, you can adjust those lag bolts so your stand will be level. So it'll sit stable. Okay, so now we're at this point. I'm going to take this, and all we're going to do, take these points and make sure that the point is somewhere in the center, all of these 2x4s all the way around. Then we're going to take and put a deck screw on every corner. And I think that's enough. Okay, I'm going to move the table out of the way, so we'll take a break here. Okay, now, so we have that much of the stand, and we marked a second 12x12, the center. Alright, so now we're going to tighten that down with 3 deck screws. Okay, make sure it's straight where you want it. I'm going to go ahead and put 4 in there. Alright, so the next thing is putting the Lazy Susan on. Now, you see these 2 large holes here? What I did is I lined this up. You know, it doesn't have to be centered, but basically in the middle. And I marked with a pencil right there where those 2 holes are. And so now we're going to attach the Lazy Susan to this piece of wood. Okay, so they have some holes in there to put the screws into. Four of them. Okay, now, if you press hard enough, you can drill right through that sheet metal, and I like to put four extras in to help hold it. So that's why you want them, they're pointed, and there are sheet metal screws. Okay, now you're going to flip it over, and when you look through these holes, you can go ahead and screw down the other side of the Lazy Susan. That's how that works. So they have two holes. And on this side, they have a lot more holes. We'll put 2 more in, and I think that'll be enough. All right. All right, so we got that far. Okay, our next step is we have 2 more 4-foot 2x4s. And we're going to do the same thing. Knock that out. And this time we just have to put this on like that. Over the thing. Alright, that's all we're going to do there, and then we're going to flip this over and put it right over the other 12x12, and we're just going to put not sure, we're just going to put a couple and it's going to put 2 shorter screws. Make sure they don't go through, and there just have to be enough for the 2 pieces of wood. Alright, so it spins. Okay, now here's the thing. The reason I did it like that is so if we have to move this to another room or whatever, you just take those 2 screws off, and it's easier to move. So that's why I actually, before I didn't have that extra plywood, but now we're going to do that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is put on these pieces of plywood here. Now, I think, let me have a look. We're going to screw that down, then we have to put these on there. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just putting it on the edge, and I'm centering it. Okay, they do not have to be exact, because the tile you're putting on is much bigger than these, so just you can eyeball it. I'm going to put it in the middle here to start it. Alright, we're going to glue the tile to these, and we want them, okay, the idea of this is you're going to put a t-shirt on there and then put it under the dryer so it dries. So we want to make sure all the tiles are even. So the way we do that, put some glue on each one. And we're going to roll it around and make sure they go under that, because that heat panel is exactly 16 by 16. If you have an 18 by 18, you're going to do it with an 18 by 18 tile. But let's just see. I'm going to move, actually, make sure this is straight too. Alright, so now we're going to do the next one. And now move this around so it's directly under there. And then do the next one. Alright. Now, remember I put those two screws in there? So now, once this dries and that, I want to move this, I just have to undo it, and then this top part will come out. So, we're all set, we're going to let it dry, we're going to paint it. Alright, so we just finished building the poor man conveyor, and once it's painted and it's all together, just how it works. And remember, I made it so this top part lifts off, and I'm actually not even screwing it down because it's heavy enough to hold it. But that makes it easy to move it from room to room and stuff like that. But basically, when you print a t-shirt, it's going to have white ink on it. And what this allows you to do is have it under the dryer while you're printing. And you just go on. And you can print a t-shirt about every minute. So that gives you an idea, you know, the volume you can do. So this is a 4-man conveyor, and that's it.